Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off grid in Australia. It is the video that people, love to watch. We get lots of newcomers watching this one as too. It seems to hit the algorithm, and it is the actual grocery haul. So the last video that I posted was the shop with me, was part of the process of the shopping, though I'm not very good at filming in public. So it was, hit and miss on what I managed to get. And this is all the groceries. So when we get home at 4 or 5 o'clock, when I get home, then we start unloading it and we load it table by table and share all the groceries that I have bought one by one, with some little feedback and stuff and some pricing where I know what it is and stuff as well. We were shopping every 8 to 10 weeks, and we've brought it back to 4 to 6 weeks. So there has been a bit of a change in the scheduling of the groceries, and it has made it a little difficult at times to judge how much I need of things. We're still bringing that back into a shorter period. So I'm spending a little bit more per the averages that I'm spending are a little bit more at the moment than I would like for the period that we're shopping for, because I'm a little used to shopping for the 8 to 10 weeks. And I got into the habit of it. And so I got into the habit of wanting that quantity each time I shopped, like grabbing that amount of each thing each time I shopped. So I am doing my inventories and stuff. I showed them on the planning video. I have an inventory of everything that's in the house that's food wise, that I can, what I like to keep, what I have on the shelf, what I need to buy to make sure that I've got enough of everything and all that sort of thing. And I'm working on those, but the inventories were also set up for the 10 to 12 week period. So it's just been a juggle to bring it back. I didn't take the trailer for this trip, which meant that I had to be aware of how much I was getting so that I had enough room, and it was a tight squeeze. But I am also going to do a bulk meat order in a couple of weeks, because I didn't take everything with me and I didn't have the space, and we just decided it works better. Some of the pricing at the butcher's, if I can get it on special, is well worth getting stuff at the butcher. I've actually just put dinner on. It's only 3 o'clock, but I've just put dinner on because I just put the ribs in the oven that we bought in the groceries. So sometimes some of the things that I can get from the butcher and that are well worth buying at the butcher. The meat wholesaler generally has some specials too, though, and I try and buy within those specials. And the last time I did a meat order, there is a video from it, but I will do a video for this one too. The last time I did a meat order, I ordered it a little bit into the 10-week period, and it lasted that 10-week and the next 6-week period. We've still got a little bit left from that haul. So I'm thinking the meat orders, if I did them every second shop, so every 12 weeks or so, then that might work out really well, so that I can buy the specials on the grocery shops, go and buy whatever the butcher has going special, or whatever Costco has going special, or my standards that I get from Costco, and then buy the mainstays from the wholesaler, and we'll see how we go. That's still sort of coming and going. So what I will do is I will show you all the groceries first. This is for a family of 7. My budget is, I less have a strict budget and more have a mindfulness and a knowledge of what I'm spending. So I want my kids fed well, and I want to have food that we want to eat and supplies that we need, but I still want to be somewhat frugal, and I don't want there to be any wastage. So everything is bought mindfully, and with thought about how it's going to be used, and to make sure it will be used, but not necessarily to a strict budget. So I don't set myself like a $1,500 a month budget or anything like that, because I have the ability to spend a little bit more if I need to at the moment. Our disposable income has increased, and I can spend a little bit more if I need to, so I don't have to watch every penny. A couple of years ago, I was having to count every cent by the last shop. I was having to calculate on a calculator exactly what I was spending by the last shop to make sure that I had enough in the account, and I don't have to do that at the moment, and that is absolutely wonderful. But I still am not willing to spend for the sake of spending. So food is bought with intention, mindfully, and with purpose, but it's less to a strict budget. We still don't spend a whole lot compared to a lot of people, so I'm okay with it. So once I show you all the groceries, and then I will come back and we can go over all the costings and things like that. I'll show you all the tables full of groceries first. It was Friday night and it's now Sunday, but I just had to catch up, so we will do that first. We have table 1 laid out. Hopefully there won't be as many tables today, but it's not looking promising. So let's start this end so I'm not setting in my own light because it's late. All right, so I got some of the protein pasta that we preferred, the brand, I quite liked that, a couple of packs of that and a couple of packs of corn flour, and then just some pasta to top up our stores so that we already have some spirals, some penne, some spaghetti. So we brought this up to about 10 of each packet sitting in the tub for storage, and we won't go through that much. I bought a couple of packs of these granola bars for the kids. They were on special. They were $4.70 for a 12 pack, which works out really cheap. So I grabbed those. Some of the coconut cream that they use for their hot tea, hot coffee, hot chocolate and things like that. These veggie curls were something I hadn't seen before, and a 20 pack. I just thought the kids might like them, so we grabbed those. I got a small smoked flaked salt. This was just on special and I love smoked salt. So I grabbed it purely because I wanted to. Olive oil from Costco. Now the Kirkland's olive oil has been changing in price a lot lately. So last month it was $75 for the 2 of these. This month it was only $57. So no idea why the massive change in that. And some vegetable oil for frying as well. I got some coffee beans. These ones were from Woolworths. They were ones that were on special. I also got some from Costco, which will turn up somewhere as well. The other brand of protein pasta that we like as well in the spirals, I grabbed a bag of cocoa. Now this was the only bag that Woolworths had. Woolworths is the only place that seems to have it in stock. It has gone up though. So it was $7.70 instead of $7 last month. And what is this? This is a 375 gram packet. So per kilo, what are we looking at? That is 375, 7 divided by 375. We're looking at like $1.80 per 100, and then it went up to $7.70, so we're looking at sort of almost $2 and something per 100. So it's gone up like, you know, $1.80, 10% it's gone up in the 6 weeks, but can't live without cocoa. So I bought the treats. I talked about this when I was doing the shopping, some dog treats and some cat treats for Sonnet, who's doing some training with the animals. We got some tortilla chips. There's 4 or 5 packets of them. We still have some left, so this was just to top up what we had. The kids use them as snacks and nachos, all that sort of thing. I grabbed a couple of packets of cashews. It ended up being the cheapest place was Aldi for these this month, so I grabbed 2 bags of those. We use them for the cashew cheese or just for the kids to snack on or whatever. I got some green curry paste and some red curry paste, 4 of each. A couple more packets of arborio rice. We do have a couple still in the bucket, but I like to have enough that you can have, say, 1 meal of risotto a week over the 6 weeks sort of thing. So that's how much I tend to try and have. A couple of packets of the nutritional yeast flakes, which the kids use in all their cheese flavored stuff. Udon noodles, there is 9 packs here, which is 3 meals worth, 3 packs per meal. So over the 6 weeks, I got some rice vermicelli as well. We use that in like the rice paper rolls and things like that, and we had run out. I got the kids some tin peaches because they just really like tin peaches, so I grabbed some. I bought myself this lychee drink. I've had this as samples at Costco numerous times, and because I've no longer heavily counting carbs or anything else, I bought this just as a treat for myself because I wanted to. I got ketchup for the kids. We use that for hot dogs and things like that. This basmati rice was 2 for $23, so it's 10 kilos for $23, 23 cents per 100, which is a good price. And I like the rice when it comes in these canvas bags. So I grabbed those 2, some of the sugar-free cordial that we use with SodaStream, some raw sugar. We use this for canning and the kids use it in tea and stuff. I got 10 kilos of that. Oreos were half price, so I got a variety of flavours for the kids to have with hot chocolate at night, just as a treat for after dinner. The coconut cream I got from Coles. It has gone up to $1.10 per tin, but they always have stock. Unlike Aldi, it's the same price. It's gone up to $1.10 at Aldi as well, but they just don't always have stock, so it's easier to get it at Coles. I got popcorn. I forgot to order the bulk popcorn delivered to Mum, so I bought the small ones. These are 400 grams each, so I grabbed 10 of them, which is about 4 kilos, which we will probably go through in the 6 weeks. The normal ghee, the 2 1.5 litre jars of ghee, and a 6-pack of the muri passata that I like to buy. Rice milk, I got, I think, 32, I think, which is an odd number, but I think I ended up with 32 between Woolworths and Aldi. And I bought us the little crunchy cornichon pickles that I really like, and a pack of the woody tomatoes that I use in all the cooking as well. So that was table 1 so far. All right, table 2. I'm going to juggle my phone for a light while I'm doing this, so hopefully I can figure this out. So second table, we've got some banana chips, which the kids either eat as snacks or I use in the instant porridge. I needed some vegeta, but they also had the Knorr chicken powder as well, so I grabbed some of that too. Half a dozen of the rice cakes that we always buy. Aldi had these little Lego critters that I grabbed as well, just for the kids. They also had this as a limited edition, some self-saucing puddings, so I thought that might be nice in winter, especially if we're making creamy as well, to have ice cream with some self-saucing puddings. Some rice crackers. Now, I discussed this when I did the shopping. Rice crackers at Aldi have gone down to 79 cents. Coles had gone down to 80 cents as well, so they've come down in price. I'm not real sure why. We already still have some seaweed ones available, so left in the cupboard, so I grabbed just the plain ones. I grabbed our normal 4 Wheat Bix, 4 rice bubbles, but I also grabbed these 2 that were, this was a new one at Aldi, and that was a new one at Woolworths, I think. Just some different cereal for them to try. I was requested to grab more of these fruit snacks, so I grabbed them. Those ones, it turned out they had 2 different types, so I just grabbed a pack of each as a treat for the kids. I grabbed baking powder at Coles or Woolworths. They're $5.55 at Coles and Woolworths. And then when I was at Aldi, I found that they have some for $3 something. So I grabbed 1 from each place, but I'll now remember that I should buy that from Aldi. Peanut butter, we've still got a couple on the shelf, so I just grabbed an extra, and I grabbed them the chocolate stripe peanut butter that they really like, that Costco has every now and again, but not always. Maple syrup, it again is only, it's gone down at $17.99 a litre, so it's good for us. I'm not real sure why though. A couple of jars of the Italian tomato paste from Coles. We've got a couple left on the shelf, but when I make things like bog bolognese and that, I go through it. So some balsamic vinegar, and a couple of things of malt vinegar for making more Worcestershire sauce, Dijon mustard, that's part of something else. We got a bunch of the sugar-free, I don't know why these have been placed here, but a bunch of the sugar-free jelly crystals. This honey at Kirkland was on sale for 75 cents per 100. It's a 2 kilo container instead of the 1 kilos that I normally buy, but the 1 kilos are $1 per 100, so it was cheaper, so I grabbed that, and I grabbed 4 of them because you just don't know if it's going to be there again when you go back. I grabbed a bunch of these freeze-dried mixes, so there was some banana, mango and strawberries, and some tropical ones. These were both $6 and $6.30 per 100, so a pretty good price for freeze-dried fruit. And then the normal is always requested for the dehydrated vegetables, so some of those for the kids as well. These are the cherry jars that I left at Mum's last shopping trip, so I grabbed them and brought them back with me. Apparently these fit really well in the Louvel yogurt maker, so that was why I bought these, but they will make some nice ice cream, chocolate cherry ice cream or something. I grabbed some chili flakes because I forgot to buy them in the bulk spice order, which I will show you on this video as well, to make some chili crisp with. And we have apple juice for the child that requires it, and then some almonds from Costco. Costco's sort of the cheapest place to get almonds from, generally speaking. Costco also had this low carb, the Herman brought low carb bread. It was about $11 for the 2 packets, which works out quite a good price when compared to Coles and Woolworths and that. And I just really like to have something like this in the freezer, like when I'm having eggs or something for breakfast, just to have a piece of toast with. So I'm going to freeze these for that purpose. And then this was the coffee that I grabbed at Costco. I grabbed a Republica, a Crema, and a Coffex one. Now, all the coffee has gone up at Costco as well. Nothing was below $2.30 per 100, even the stuff that was cheap last time. So I'm not sure why that's happening either, but that is the second table. All right, a small table load of extras, and then we'll move on to the meat and fruit and veg and stuff, I think. I got some 3M strips mostly for Sonnet to hang up her canvases and stuff. This was on clearance for $9.97. I've looked at it numerous times to serve stuff up for the kids and didn't want to spend the $30 or $40, but it was $9.97, so I grabbed it. I always grab these little bowls when they have new designs of them because I use them for everything. So I grabbed a packet of those, and then this was on sale to $23, and I really hate using the Thermomix and stuff when I just want to grate like a small chunk of cheese for Darryl and I to have with a meal or whatever, and these are supposed to be really good, so I grabbed that. I grabbed Ziploc bags from Coles because they work out pretty cheap. It's 21 cents each for the large ones and 18 cents I think for the small ones, which is actually, the Costco ones are 20 cents, but it's a huge box. But when I went, they had these Kirkland brand ones and I've never seen them before, so I decided to give them a go. And the small ones are 8 cents each and the large ones are 11 cents each, so they are a lot cheaper than the Ziploc brand, so I thought I would try them out. I bought some gloves for using around the property and stuff, firewood, whatever it needs to be used. We use this High Smile toothpaste, and I normally buy it in bulk at end of financial year, so I probably will if they have one of the big sales that they have, but they were half price at Woolworths this month, so I grabbed a few odd flavors. Yes, Barbie one, a pink bubble gum, there is a red frog, strawberry, Simpsons purple squishies, I have no idea what that'll taste like, and grape bubble gum. They were just the ones that were on the shelf half price, so I grabbed those. They last us for ages, but it's always nice to have extras. I buy toothbrushes every month, though I probably won't need to now if we're only shopping every 4 to 6 weeks instead of the 8 to 10. Garbage bags, laundry detergent, we still have some on the shelf. I just grabbed an extra one. Now, I would normally have bought this at Big W, except that Big W doesn't have their 10% off anymore, so I bought it at Woolworths, and it was $1.50 dearer, but I googled and Big W's gone up as well, so they've both gone up. So this went up $1.50 in 6 weeks. Scourer pads, a couple of dish detergents, we still have a couple on the shelf as well. The automatic sprayer stuff from Coles, I missed this in the food stuff. Some sugar-free hot chocolate for Darryl and I, and a couple of shampoos and conditioners. These were 40% off, so I grabbed some of the big ones, even though we still have plenty on the shelf. So that's all of that miscellaneous stuff. All right, table 4, okay. So we're starting on the cold stuff. So what did I get? Now I did grab some of I mentioned the low carb English muffins, burger buns and bread. These were the other ones that I bought, different brands to try. Coles bread and English muffins and the Aldi high protein buns. We did try these last month and we didn't mind them, so they're just going to go in the freezer for over the next sort of 6 weeks. I got 2 of the Coles cheddar cheese. We really quite like this, and it's only $9 a kilo, so I tend to buy that. Some little mini cheese Kransky chipolatas. I actually bought these dumplings last month and I left them in Mum's freezer by accident, so I've grabbed them. But I bought some wonton wrappers to make some of our own as well, because I thought the kids could have them in soup for warm lunches over winter. Some pizza cheese, the whipped cream in a can. I got some of the sugar-free chocolates for Darryl and I. The mint and the orange is our favorite, and a pack of the kids' chocolate chips from Costco. I also grabbed these to try, these Angus beef burgers. They're frozen, so I just wanted something really simple. I didn't end up buying beef trim because I was a bit concerned about space in Eskies with not taking the trailer. And we do have some mince, but it's in 2 kilo lots in the freezer, so I grabbed these. They're in little 150 gram pieces, which should be really easy to just defrost if we wanted to have something like that with some eggs and bacon or whatever, or even the hamburger buns as a simple meal. The butcher had some diced ham bags, $4.99 a kilo. We will use these like bacon, just as a really cheap way of doing that. And they had these pork ribs for $4.99 a kilo, so I grabbed enough for a meal of those. The Coles chicken tenders, the kids really liked last month, so I grabbed a few bags of those. I grabbed some salami. The butcher had these honey smoked Cheerios on sale, and I thought the kids would really like those. They love Cheerios, and that was just a different sort. And I grabbed some smoked Kransky as well. Now, Costco had some chickens in their cold section. Now, I don't buy their hot rotisserie chickens generally because transporting them from Costco home is an issue, because it has to go in something separate to everything else because they're hot, and it's awkward. But they had these already chilled in the fridges, so obviously they had excess and had chilled them, so I grabbed 8 of them. Tomorrow we'll have to strip them all. I really want to make a whole bunch of chicken stock so that we can can soup and stuff, so I wanted some carcasses, and this is what I did. I got 4 packs of the ravioli for the kids. We just store this in the freezer, really quick and easy meal. This brand from Woolworths is the cheapest per 100 to buy. The garlic herb broccoli that we got last time had 300 extra flyby points again on it, and Darryl and I quite liked that one, so I grabbed that. I grabbed some parmesan and just some halloumi as a treat as well. I ended up grabbing the pork yakiniku for just to eat, because just for something different. And I grabbed 4 of the chicken thigh fillets. Now, I am going to do a bulk meat order, so the meat is pretty light in this section because the plan is to do the bulk meat order. I did miss the steak though. I did buy a rib fillet as well at the butcher, $29.99 a kilo for that rib fillet. And I bought the pork loin from Costco, which is a really good buy at $10.49 a kilo. So easy to just cut a piece off and have a pork steak. And Darryl requested pork belly, so I grabbed a pork belly. I got the bone-in thighs from Coles because it's one of the only places that I can get them at a decent price. And there was some bacon from Coles as well, I think it was a good price back down. I said something about it when I was filming. And then this is the veggies of choice that we buy. These are the $6.50 a kilo. We have some still in the freezer, so I bought 4 more. This fish was on sale. It was $15 for the big boxes, so I grabbed that for us to have some fish as well. And I think that's everything on the table.
Did you take advantage?
Yes, so we will start the next one. There was a few extra bits that I had missed. So we have the hot dog sausages that we like. These are the chicken and pork Filipino style. They're really nice. So I buy some of them, and we have hot dogs for dinner tonight, and then they can be in the fridge for later. Some of the smoked brats from Costco, which are quite nice. The butter, grass-fed butter from Costco, it used to come in 3 little pieces, which was handy. Now it's in these 1 kilo blocks, which is a little less convenient, but we'll deal with it. And some cheese Kransky from Costco as well. This is actually quite a good price, these ones. I tend to forget that these are a better price than these ones, and I grabbed these ones first, but I kept them both. Some champagne ham, just for the kids. It's easy when it's in the little packets. A Nuttalex and a Greek yogurt. A bag of carrots, because I wasn't sure if the carrots in the fridge were still okay. They apparently are, so we will use a bunch of them to make some of the chicken soup canned that we were going to make. Hot dog buns for dinner, a couple of packs of the Borg's puff pastry, some mini Lebanese cucumbers, and some cos lettuce. We generally have like burgers or something at some time in the first week. We use this lettuce and stuff up, and a couple of packs of the Mission tortillas, though we do still have a couple of packs left in the crate, but these are extras. So that was the extra food stuff. Then fruit and veg. I got a box of avocados. Avocados were $15 for the box. There's some good and bad ones in there. We will eat through them all. I got a box of lemons, $40 I think, for 15 kilos, but that was fine because I really wanted some lemons to make some lemon chung, and Sonnet, yes, likes to make lemonade out of it. I got a box of zucchini. Again, the zucchini wasn't super cheap. I think it was $24 for the box, but it's the change in weather has caused some issues with supply of fruit and veg, so some things just aren't real cheap at the moment, but I'm willing to pay for it anyway because that's still a like 10 kilo box. It's still only $2.40 a kilo. The big drumhead cabbages were really nice looking, $4 each, and they're really nice big ones. So I bought 6 of those. I also bought 2 lots of the toilet paper from Costco. I got 3 boxes of the ladyfinger bananas. One of these is for my neighbor, and we are pretty much out of frozen bananas. So I thought I'd grab the extra boxes. The lady bananas were second, so they were a pretty good price. Got these washed potatoes were only $1 a kilo, so I got a 20 kilo box of those. I got a 10 kilo box of onions for $8, and all these butternut pumpkins were second. Big box of seconds Granny Smith apples as well. These really tiny ones, so they have issues with selling the ones that are too small, which is really silly, but that's fine by me. So it was a $30 box of these, a huge box of these. There was more of the butternut pumpkins, and there was a big box of oranges for $20 as well. So a 20 kilo box, $1 a kilo for these oranges. And I forgot I got a box of broccoli as well. Now the broccoli, again, it wasn't real cheap. I think it was $40-something for the box, but it's an 8 kilo box. And even if it's $40-something, you're talking $5 or $6 a kilo for fresh ice packed broccoli. I pay $6.50 a kilo for it frozen. So, you know, sometimes you take the hit of slightly more expensive veggies to get them fresh like this. So that's what we did. So there's a box of broccoli as well. And I think that was everything. So that was the groceries for this month. There was a few things that I didn't need this month that would have been my normals. Like I didn't buy baker's flour because I still have a 25 kilo bag in a tote because I just didn't need to open it last month. There's a few bits and pieces that I would normally buy that I didn't necessarily have to buy this month, and that's part of this figuring out the routine of it and the 4 to 6 week again. But also I am trying to get a little bit of a buffer of food. So when we were doing the 8 to 10 week period shopping, by the end of the 8 to 10 weeks, we were using everything. There was very little left in the pantries and the fridges and the freezers. There just wasn't. The hope is that by bringing the groceries a little bit closer, spending a little bit more, then we can get a little bit of a buffer so that if I had to miss a grocery period for whatever reason, like if the car was broken down or someone was sick or something, we would still have plenty. We wouldn't be scrounging. So that is the plan, of getting a few bits and pieces of extras as well, which means that sometimes the shops, I think, over the next while are going to look a little bit unbalanced. Some are going to have more stuff than I'd think they'd have, and some are going to have less because I've already got a surplus of that, or I'm trying to gain a surplus of it and that sort of thing. So that's what's going to happen. I also did a bulk spice order, so I haven't unpacked it from the box, so I thought I'd show that to you as well because I keep on saying I was going to share it. There's a whole bunch of things that I want to make with these. I need to make everything bagel seasoning, and I want to make some instant soup mixes and all that. So I did this order and I received it just before I left. I didn't have a chance to open it, so I just wanted to share that with you as well because we've been talking about it. All right, I bought it from Aussie Spices. I have bought from them before and been very happy with the quality of it. They do free shipping over a certain weight, and if you buy in bulk, then it's cheaper than if you buy in smaller containers. And so most of my spices I require in bulk anyway. So I got some mustard seeds to make some mustard with. I got some tomato powder to use in those instant soups that I was talking about. I got some mixed spice because I needed some mixed spice for baking purposes, especially over winter with all those sort of, cinnamony warm spices. I got some pumpkin powder. Again, we're looking at making some instant soup mixes with those. I got some smoked paprika because I currently only have standard paprika that I could get from Costco, so I didn't have any smoked at the moment. I got some garlic powder because I don't have any powder. This is a very fine garlic powder. I probably could have gone more of a granulated one. Actually, this is very fine, but that's nice anyway. So I just got 500 grams of that because it tends to go hard if you don't store it appropriately. But I did buy garlic granules as well. So this is probably more what I should have bought rather than the powder. I thought this was the bigger stuff. Actually, I thought this was the garlic flakes because the garlic flakes are always nice in the everything bagel. I got the onion flakes. And normally I get the garlic flakes in the same sort of a size, but for some reason I've gotten the fine and the powder. No idea. Probably because I put it off for so long I didn't even know what I was doing anymore. So onion flakes as well, garlic powder and garlic granules, potato flakes, again, to make the instant soup mixes. I got some coriander whole seeds because I've got some cracked coriander, but I didn't have any of the seeds left. I used the last from my garden recently when I did whatever I needed to do. Onion powder, some mustard powder. I can grind the mustard seeds up to mustard powder, but they're never quite as fine as a purchased mustard powder. And for some things, it's just nice to have that. I got some cinnamon because we always need cinnamon, though I only got 500 grams. Normally I thought I would have got more than that, but I also got some cinnamon sticks as well because I use these whole in certain things to infuse and I had run out. So that's what I got for the moment. There's a few other things that I probably should have got, and I may do another order considering I didn't get those garlic flakes either. So I think the problem was, as I said, I put off doing the order for so long, and that by the point that I was doing it, just wasn't quite thinking exactly what I needed to do. But this will get me started anyway, so I will need to put these all into vacuum seal jars and things like that over the next couple of days and get it all sorted. But that is the spice order that I got. The total on that was $234.50, so that had free shipping on it, and it was $234.50 for all of that. So spices, obviously you buy enough to last you for quite a while, so you don't have to do the order too often, especially when you're taking advantage of free shipping. So that was the spices. As to the cost factor of the groceries themselves, I did break it down. I spent $1,502 at Costco, but about $200 of that was miscellaneous items. Like if I have a couple of items, normally I don't worry about it. And that still includes toiletries and kitchen stuff. But there was like the gloves, and I bought a couple of pairs of pants for Darryl and a jumper for Darryl and those extra bowls. And, you know, there was a fair few bits and pieces in there that were non-food items and non-kitchen household related items as well. So it was about $200 of that sort of stuff. I spent $143 at Mega Meats at the butcher, $471 at Coles, $324 at Woolworths, $177 at Aldi, and $300 odd at the fruit and veg. So the total all up with everything done what needs to be done, I'll put the things on the side of the screen like I normally do anyway, was $2,713.56. It actually ends up being a little bit less than that because I on-sold some of the fruit and veg like at cost to my neighbour, because I always buy a few extra bits and pieces. Like I bought 3 boxes of bananas and one was for her and things like that, but it's neither here nor there. So let's work on the 2,713.56-ish as the total for the 6 weeks. That ends up being $452.26 per week, which isn't bad. It's not great. It's not particularly frugal. It's not particularly cheap, but it's not bad for 7 of us, for everything we eat. And you have to remember there that we don't eat out at all. There is no takeaways. There is no lunches, nothing. Occasionally, Darryl will go into Toowoomba for an appointment and he might buy Macca's for the kids or something. But in general, that is every meal that we eat in the entire 6 weeks paid for in these groceries. It just is. It's just the way it works. So obviously we're going to do that bulk meat order though. So that is going to kick up the per week price, and it'll probably end up being $80 to $100 a week on top of what we do. So say the $530 a week maybe for including all our meat, but we are eating a lot more meat than normal because Darryl is doing the carnivore keto thing. So we do go through meat a lot faster, which is going to kick up the bill a little bit there, and that's just the way it is. But $530 for 7 of us a week is still not excessive, but we're going to work on this $450 for the moment. So it ends up being $64 per person per week, $9.22 per person per day, or $3.07 per person per meal. So that's how I work it out. So based on 7 of us eating, I work out how much it is per meal if we were eating 3 meals a day. Now, obviously the children eat many more meals than that. And it's first breakfast and second breakfast and early lunch and late lunch and afternoon tea and dinner and dessert. But it's just a measuring stick. It's just something that I use to understand how much we're spending, how much we're eating, what we're consuming, and things like that. So a couple of years ago, $1.90 to $2 per person per meal was where I was aiming at. That was when we were a bit tighter in money as well, but also groceries were cheaper. I haven't had too much experience with inflation as being particularly massive. I think because of the way I shop, it just isn't that obvious or that big a deal. Yes, things have gone up. Like I said, the cocoa was up 10%. The laundry liquid was up 10%. So, you know, there is some significant price hikes on things, but things like the olive oil went from $75 down to $57. So like that counteracts the increases in a lot of things because I paid less for that. But I haven't been paying that for that long either. So, you know, it sort of evens out a little bit, but obviously has crept up because it was $1.90 to $2 per person per meal. And there was 8 of us a couple of years ago. So I was talking about going back over some of my lists and doing some comparisons because I actually generally speaking, keep all my receipts from all my shopping, and I have spreadsheets and stuff. But when I went over it, there is really only a few things that significantly increase. Everything else has crept up a little bit, yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it was a good, good way to push the inflation thing, like everyone's going on about inflation, and yes, there has been, but nothing I looked between my couple of years back and now. When you think about the difference in the per meal per person thing, but the thing is that my kids were 2 years younger then too, and we were a little tighter on money, so I was making things stretch a little bit further. Some years we've had really fantastic gardens, which means that there's been less cost for there. So some years we get more eggs and some years we get less. Some years we cull a whole lot of chickens, and some years we don't. But a lot of it is that the kids' ages have, like the kids have gone aged 2 years in the last 2 years, and the amount of food that a 14-year-old boy eats compared to a 12-year-old boy, or a 10-year-old, 11-year-old instead of a 9-year-old, like that sort of thing, it's definitely increased in that concept too. So, and their tastes have changed. They eat a lot more of the more expensive meats and stuff if they're given the opportunity to, and we try and make sure that they get the opportunity to have that as well as the cheaper stuff. So, you know, everything's gone up a little bit, but we went from being really, 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 really tight to being slightly more comfortable. So the changes in the price haven't affected us as much. If we were still as tightly to every cent as we were a couple of years ago, I think it would have made more difference. But because we are one of those very lucky people who has not had an increase in interest rates or anything like that, because we the property is, I've got a personal loan for part of the property and that's it. So it's not like it's an increase in mortgage rates or anything like that. And it's very small compared to a lot of people. We haven't had that pressure. So the food pricing, even though they've gone up a little bit, hasn't been an added pressure. It's just been the only pressure. So it's a little bit different for us. But anyway, so that's what we spent for this 6 week period. We definitely have more than we need for 6 weeks of a lot of things. Because as I said, I'm trying to build that buffer, but I'm also learning how much we're going through as a family of 7, but also as a 6 week period instead of an 8 to 10 week period. So it's all, you know, we're getting there. So if you're interested in seeing what I do with all of the food, and how I make it work and how I get the fruit and veg to last for us and all that sort of stuff, then tune in, because I do videos 3 times a week. And I generally do a chat video where we catch up on everything for the week, and I do 2 other kitchen, meal prep, food prep, bulk prep type videos where we go through everything that needs doing, and how I make living off grid and staying home, I don't leave the house except for the groceries, work on that kind of a food sort of a limit. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there so that I can get this edited and out, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.